We've all heard the phrase, you can't love others until you love yourself. But what does that really mean? For years, I struggled with the concept of self love, pouring my energy into practices, people, and priorities that left me feeling empty and unfulfilled. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I realized the truth. I had been seeking love and validation from external sources when what I really needed was to cultivate a deep, unwavering love for myself. Self love is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation upon which we build our lives, our relationships, and our sense of purpose. When we love ourselves fully and unconditionally, we create a solid base from which to grow, heal, and thrive. But in a world that constantly tells us we're not enough, how do we begin to cultivate this kind of radical self acceptance? It starts with vulnerability. Brene Brown, a renowned researcher and storyteller, defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It's the courage to show up and be seen, even when there are no guarantees. When we approach ourselves with this kind of openness and honesty, we create space for genuine connection, both with ourselves and with others. But vulnerability is not weakness. It's a strength that allows us to tap into our deepest reserves of resilience and compassion. When we're willing to face our fears, our flaws, and our failures head on, we open ourselves up to the possibility of profound personal growth. We learn to embrace our imperfections as part of what makes us uniquely human. So, how do we put this into practice? It starts with self awareness. We must be willing to look within and acknowledge our own thoughts, feelings, and needs without judgment. This means taking time each day to check in with ourselves, to ask, what do I need in this moment to feel loved and supported? It means listening closely to the answer and taking steps to honor those needs with compassion. It also means setting boundaries. When we love ourselves fully, we recognize that our time, energy, and resources are precious. We learn to say no to the things that don't serve us and yes to the things that nourish our hearts and souls. We understand that taking care of ourselves is not selfish. It's an act of self preservation that allows us to show up more fully in the world. But perhaps most importantly, self love means embracing our own humanity. It means recognizing that we are all imperfect beings, stumbling through life as best we can. When we approach ourselves and others with this kind of grace and understanding, we tap into the healing power of connection. We create a world where it's okay to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to ask for help when we need it. This is not always easy. In a culture that prizes perfection and self sufficiency, vulnerability can feel like a risk. But as Brene Brown reminds us, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. When we're willing to take that leap of faith, we open ourselves up to the possibility of true belonging, both with ourselves and with others. So, how do we begin to cultivate this kind of radical self love? It starts with small daily choices. Each morning when you wake up, take a moment to place your hand on your heart and ask yourself what you need to feel loved and supported. Listen closely to the answer and then take steps to honor that need throughout your day. Pay attention to your self talk. Are you speaking to yourself with kindness and understanding, or are you mired in self criticism and doubt? Choose to be your own best friend, offering yourself the same grace and encouragement you would extend to someone you love. And when you find yourself in moments of struggle or vulnerability, remember that you are not alone. Every human being on this planet knows the pain of self doubt and the fear of disconnection. By embracing these experiences with tender self compassion, you open yourself up to the healing power of love. This is not a one time event, it's a lifelong journey of discovery and growth. It requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones. But when we learn to love ourselves fully and unapologetically, we become a force for good in this world. We show up more authentically in our relationships. We pursue our passions with greater clarity and conviction, and we create ripples of positive change that extend far beyond ourselves. So I invite you today to take one small step on the path of self-love. Speak a kind word to yourself. Do something that brings you joy, or reach out for support when you need it. Trust that you are worthy of love and belonging, just as you are. And know that every time you choose to love yourself, you are not only healing your own heart, you are helping to heal the heart of the world. Let us all commit to embracing vulnerability, to showing up fully in our lives, and to loving ourselves with the same fierce compassion we extend to others. For when we do, we create a world where every human being can thrive. In the words of the incomparable Maya Angelou, I don't trust people who don't love themselves and tell me, I love you. There is an African saying which is, be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt. Let us all put on the shirt of self-love and wear it proudly every day of our lives. For when we do, we create a world where everyone can show up fully, authentically, and unapologetically as themselves. Thank you.